and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Hump Day. I hope you guys are rocking and rolling and are enjoying this is the second month of this wonderful year, 2021. And, this is something I want to talk to you about this morning in this episode that it's not really used by many local businesses. And I don't know why, because this concept is really from the internet marketing world. And as you guys know, I've been an internet marketer since 2007, and I started out coaching a lot of local businesses how to do this stuff themselves. And, they said, Frank, I'd rather you do it for me. So I want to teach you guys something that, a lot of my followers are local businesses. I've got attorneys, I've got dentists, I've got chiropractors, I've got car dealers as well. I've got a couple of other med spas, et cetera, et cetera. They do not do what I am going to teach you today. And what I'm going to teach you today is effective email marketing and how to write your welcome email series. If you got a copy of my book, I talk a lot on that about creating a website that does a lot of the sales work for you. Now, part of the creation of the website is bring them to you using effective SEO, of course. But once they get to you from wherever you're doing, whether it's SEO, Facebook marketing, YouTube, whatever mechanism you choose to bring them to you, what are they going to do? What are you going to give them as a result of them getting there? You got their attention. You got them there. And the biggest error that I see a lot of local businesses, probably, I'm sorry to say, man, but it's probably like over 80% of local businesses out there that I'm noticing, they don't have a hook for them. They don't have a unique selling proposition. They don't have something to give them in exchange for an email. And then here's another thing that I've noticed, and this is what prompted me to start this episode, is that when they do have a hook, they hey, I'm going to give you this this free guide of divorces in 2021. Let's say I don't know, I'm just making that up, but let's just say that's one of their hooks. They don't have an email marketing series to follow up with the clients. And that's a huge mistake. And I'm going to talk to you about how to write a welcome email series, because it's important to do that, especially if you want to create connection with your audience. Before we get to the content today, so let's do a couple of housekeeping, guys. I want to talk to you guys what I'm doing this year with the book. Talking about the book, I'm only giving it away here with this podcast. So if you're a listener of this podcast and you're in the United States and you would love to get a look at what I think is part of an awesome book out there, 7 Steps to Recession Proofing Your Business, you guys have to go to my website. Go to www.lbmsllc.com/book and request a free copy. All you have to do is give me a couple of bucks for shipping, and the copy is yours. And it has a lot of these concepts what I'm talking to you about right now. It's all about follow-up, guys. The fortune is in the follow-up. Whoever said that is a genius. All right, so another last tidbit before we go into the content is, if you want to be a guest on my show, just hit me up on 888-416-7752 or send me an email at info@lbmsllc.com. My admin will connect with you, schedule some time, you fill out an intake form, and off we go. Okay, so now let's talk about the email marketing series, the welcome series, if you will. See, when new leads sign up to your email list, you got to think about what is the first communication they receive from you. What is that? And it's, again, like I said before, we, in the beginning, I see a lot of local businesses doing this wrong. The internet marketers got it down point. If you're doing e-commerce and stuff like that, oh man, they have it down. But my guys, my group, my audience, you are my audience. You guys need to start getting it done correctly. So if you want to reduce, say, unsubscribe, because I think a lot of times what I'm getting from clients, well, not the clients of mine, because the clients of mine are doing this, as long as they have the omni-channel marketing plan with me, they're doing this. So that's not a problem. But the ones who don't, I think their discouragement is the unsubscribes. They don't like the fact that people are unsubscribing and stuff like that. So there's something wrong with that. So I'm going to try to fix that right now with this. And if you're having problems with what we're talking about, give me a shout. You know how to get us, 888-416-7752. And we'll schedule some time together and we could get this thing right for you. So the biggest question I get from people who don't do this and want to start doing this is how many emails should be in your welcome series? Okay. The purpose of this group of emails is to guide new subscribers into your regularly scheduled content, period. So instead of simply tossing them into the deep end, you just want to schedule them, kind of drip them into your regular scheduled content. While there is no hard and fast rule for this, okay, about exactly how long an email series should be, or most are between 3 and 7 emails, okay, of the series. So in general, I like to go with 5 as a good rule of thumb, typically, especially for local businesses. Okay, so now since your subscribers are the most engaged when they first sign up for your list, the welcome emails should be some of the best content that you can send them. You got to remember that the first few, the welcome emails, okay, has to be the best content that you can send. So when you set up the automation of this, first of all, you need to decide when to send each email. See, you don't want to bombard the subscriber, but you also want to keep your name appearing in their inbox regularly. Okay, so they get used to it. That's the bottom line. You want to get them used to it. You don't want them to say, "Oh, who's this guy?" or "Who's this company trying to email me?" A good schedule is to send your 5 emails on consecutive days, but with one break in the middle. Okay, so this could be, you could have something like you can have a schedule that looks something like this. Say day 1 is day 1 when they opt in. That's email 1. Day 2 is email 2. Day 3 is email 3. Day 4, you have a break, so they don't hear from you. Day 5, email 4, and day 6, email 5. Another good thing that you want to do is if you have a weekend in between there and you don't feel good about sending them weekend emails, or maybe even if you have a Sunday in between, you could schedule it so that it doesn't go out on a Sunday. Maybe on a Saturday you can sell it that it goes through, but maybe not on a Sunday. Something like that. Another good sequence is if you go day 1, email 1, day 2, email 2, day 3, you have a break. Then day 4, email 3, day 5, email 4, and day 6, email 5. And again, if any of those things happen to have a Sunday in there, then you want to break that up again there. So a lot of questions that I get from people is this. They say, "Hey, Frank, why can't I just use a single welcome email. Now, here's the deal. Remember what I said. A lot of these guys, the local businesses, are doing it wrong. They're not really scheduling these things out, and it's not working. So I'm gonna try to educate you. Okay, so you actually could just send one welcome email, but as you'll see, as I go through this content in this episode, you have lots of ground to cover. So if you try to cram it all into, say, one email, your readers will never make it, and they'll never go to your call to action to the end. So I like to break it up. That's one of the reasons why I like to do it. And again, we're going to cover a lot of stuff here. You're going to see, oh, okay, now I see why you can't do it all in one email. So one study shows that, and I'll give you a link in the show notes here. One study shows that 41% of brands didn't send a single message to new subscribers within 48 hours after they signed up. So a single email will still put you ahead of the curve. So even if you just have one, you're 41% ahead of brands. That's, you're ahead of 41% of the brands. So that's not bad. So, but you don't want to fall into that trap. All right. You want to set a good precedence is what I'm trying to say. So you want to make the most of the time when the audience has its highest engagement rate. Okay, so that's why you want to do a thing. So to set up your automation, you want to use a automated tool. So you don't want to, of course, you're not going to send this thing one by one, right? You want to use services like, say, MailChimp or ConvertKit, Constant. I'm not too much of a fan of Constant Contact, but that's one. I like Aweber as well. There's a couple of other, what's that other one? I can't forget. Oh man. It'll come to me. But there are so many others that make this easy for you. Okay. So once you choose the platform that you want to use, assuming you don't have one now, you can create an automated workflow that will begin whenever someone signs up for your newsletter or whatever it is that you're giving. All right. So if you continue to send emails in a preset schedule, so that's what it's all about. So you know how many and you know when, right? But then people will say, but then what do I write? Now here's where it gets interesting. How to write your email welcome series. And this is why I tell people you cannot do this all in one email, because this is a proven formula that I'm going to give you right now about email marketing that I've never, ever, ever shared before. Okay, so you guys are lucky. You're my audience, and you're going to benefit from this just because you're listening. So here's the deal. There's more than one way to write welcome emails. Okay, there is more than one way. There's always a plethora of ways of getting a cat, but there are some best practices that we can apply throughout the email marketing series. That you want, if you want to meet your goals, right? So what are you hoping? You have to ask your questions, some questions. What are you hoping to accomplish with the series? Sit down with yourself, map this out. In the fifth email, we're going to ask your subscribers to take action. So you got to remember what are you hoping to accomplish with the series? If you already know that in the fifth email, you're going to ask them to take action, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want them to do? Do you want them to schedule a call with you? Do you want them to purchase a product or service? Okay. You have to decipher this ahead of time in order for this to be effective. As you work your way through the email sequence, keep this goal in mind. This is what I'm telling you. This is why I repeated myself a few times. What are you hoping to accomplish with this series? So as you're writing this thing, keep this goal in mind. Everything we discuss over the course of this series will be leading toward the call to action in email 5. Okay. And a lot of people say, well, Frank, why wait till email 5? And I'll get to that a little later. So let's just break this down. Okay. Email 1, the first email in the series will have the highest open rate by far. Okay. On average, the open rate for every first email is around 50%. Double or even triple the average open rate. Okay. That's the funny thing. With that in mind, it can be tempting to use that first email to drive sales. This would be a huge mistake. So I want to emphasize this, folks. Don't do it in the first one. Okay. At this point, the subscriber to your email list, they don't know you. And what is business all about? People do business with people that they know, like, and trust, right? They don't know you. So a sales email is just going to look like, like a cash grab, or resist the so I want you to resist that temptation. So I know you're probably asking yourself, so what should you include? Okay. And I'm not talking about, and this is even if you're, so before I tell you what to include, even if you're not selling something, even if you're just doing, schedule a meeting with me, you don't want to do it in the first email. You just don't. Okay. So what should you include? You got to start by delivering what you promise. So whatever your lead magnet was, you want to capture their email and build your list. So the first thing you need to deliver is whatever you promise. So this could be a discount code. This could be an ebook, a checklist, whatever you offer to entice subscribers, whatever that is. And you have to decipher that. Okay. And again, I always offer this, guys. If you're having a problem coming up with stuff, we have a lot of experience working with local businesses throughout the continent of the U.S. with several different entities, so we can give you a lot of good ideas. So, if you want to take me up on that offer, that would be great, and we can help you out. So the next element of your first email should be to tell them a bit about yourself. This is important, a bit about yourself or your business, whatever it is that you're branding. A lot of people like to brand themselves, so that's why I said yourself. You want to include some credentials, not a resume, okay? Not a resume, remember that. But maybe a few wins you had with your clients, or 1 or 2 media mentions that you've had, or, you want to build a little authority, but don't go overboard with self-promotion. Okay. That's very important. So next, you want to share with, what the subscriber can expect from your email marketing. You want to start with approximately how often they will hear from you, and some ideas of types of content you'll send. You can also include a few links of some of your best existing content. Maybe you want to drive a little traffic to your website. Remember that the open rate will be great on this email. So this is a good time to showcase a lot of what you do. Then we want to ask them to do 2 things. Okay. We want to add you to their address book. And in other words, you want to get whitelisted so that your emails never get caught in a spam folder or filter or whatever. And answer a question. You want to ask a question. Asking a question gives the subscriber their first chance to interact with you, and helps you to learn more about your audience. At least in a broad sense. And this is good for you to gather data too, because if you're used to just getting referrals, this is a great way of getting to know who your real ideal market is. Hint, hint. So here are a few ideas of questions that you want to ask. Okay. Number one is, well, what are you struggling with? That's a good question. What is your business? What is your biggest stressor in business? What's one thing you've never understood but were too afraid to ask? What's one important lesson you've learned this year, et cetera, et cetera. So these questions will give you valuable insights into the audience. Okay, that's very important. And this is just an example. I mean, for every industry is different. And again, we could work together with that, and we could help you come up with some good questions. So these questions are going to help you with valuable insights into your audience, like what they want to learn from you and how advanced their businesses are. Okay, or they are, depending on what kind of business you are in. So email number two in this series, we're going to show the reader that we understand their problems. So a good way to do this is to share your most frequently asked question. It's a safe bet that if you get the same question over and over and over again, your email subscriber will want to know that same thing. So, but I don't want you to answer it. I know this is going to sound weird. Don't answer it. Tell them the answer will come in the next email. So you want to tease them. That will keep your open rate open. And this is how you know who are your real followers. So this serves as two functions. Okay, it tells the reader that there is an answer, first of all, and second, it builds some anticipation around the next email, like I said before. Now, when considering your answer, your question, keep the call to action that you have in mind for email 5. Okay, the question should have something to do with the action at the end. Okay, very important. So this is also a good time to ask your readers to follow you or on one or two social channels, which is also powerful for further opportunities to connect. Assuming, and I'm hoping if you are my listener, you know I'm a huge advocate of this, assuming that you are doing proper social media marketing. Okay, now email number 3. It's time to answer that question, okay? But we want to do it empathetically, okay? A good way to approach this is to tell the story of how you learned the answer to that question, okay? It's if it were as simple as looking it up online, everyone will probably do this. These are the hard questions that we want to acknowledge. Okay, if it took years of hard focused work to come to the solution, tell them. Okay, we want to tell the reader that it's not their fault, that they don't have the answer, but we can help. That's the thing that we want to leave them. So drive the point home with a little social proof. So a testimonial that speaks of your expertise on the subject will help maybe squash any anxiety about your authority. Okay, so any social proof that you can come up with is perfect. So email number 4. So this is probably the second to last email. So this is where we want to give a quick win. So provide real actionable value to the reader, so that even if they don't buy or schedule an appointment with you or whatever your call to action is, they found a tangible benefit from staying with you this long. Okay, that's very important. So this could be a tip, a hack, a how-to, a resource that gets them one step closer to solving their big problem, the problem that your offer can solve. Okay, So you're not asking them to buy yet, but building awareness about what's to come. That's the important thing. And this is a very important email. This second to last email is very important because you're setting it up. Okay. Take the opportunity to share another link to an existing piece of content, like a blog post or another freebie that you may have. This is a good time to do it. Now, we're going to email number 5. This is the last email in the welcome series. This is it. This is where we ask the reader to take the next step. It's the only sales email in the bunch. After all of your previous work, where we exhibited your brand authority and showed that you understand a reader's problem, this is where we seal the deal. Share the benefits of your service or product, testimonials, even more testimonials from happy customers, and you want to include the call to action. That's the important thing, and you have already decided what that is before. At least I'm hoping. And then you're gonna bang it out. Okay, so now a lot of people say, okay, well, Frank, okay, you got this welcome series, and now it ends. What's next? So what happens, right? So now your subscribers are funneled into your regular email list. So you may want to segment your list into buyers and non-buyers, or maybe someone of the people who actually said, yeah, I'll meet you for your one-to-one meeting, or not. So that's what I mean by buyers and non-buyers. So to me, if someone who took you up on the offer of a CTA is a quasi buyer, right? So you want to segment your list into that. So you can send targeted messages based on your past behavior. And the tools that I mentioned before make it real easy for you to do that, okay? And we can walk you through how to do that in each tool. So and when you're ready to launch a new product, you can use the same basic framework, okay? This pattern of 4 value emails and 1 sales email is an effective schedule for future launches. So you want to keep that in mind. So I want to have a final word before I end this episode about this, okay? Don't set it and forget it. You want to track the sequence to see what's working and what isn't. So email marketing, a lot of stuff in digital marketing, is not a set and forget. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that before I end this episode. Getting a spike, for instance, let's say if you get a spike in unsubscribes in, say, day 3, then you want to tweak that email because there's something about that email that's turning them off. Okay, let's say a good open rate but low conversion rate, from day 5 or whatever. Then your sales email needs some work. Okay. Email 5, not day 5, email 5. So your sales email is going to need some work. Your email welcome sequence, guys, is a great tool to boost sales and improve the quality of your list and give it some attention. But you want to give it some attention that it deserves. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I just want to give you some tools. You also want to have a regularly scheduled newsletter that goes out. That's not about sales. It's all about content and sprinkled in some call to actions from time to time. That's how you get that puppy done. That is a winning formula for email marketing. I wanted to share it with you guys. I think it's one of the most powerful tools. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. But better yet, I want you guys to implement this. Implement it starting today. Don't waste time. Think about all of the stuff that we talked about, and you will see a phenomenal increase in your business in the next 6 to 12 months. because as you implement these things, you'll start seeing, and you get better at it, you'll start seeing more people attracted to you and your brand will explode. So with that, folks, I am going to end this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed giving it to you. Until next week, I want to say take care, folks, and bye for now. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.